welcome to Evolve by Erica, the podcast, a place where we talk about all things spirituality, 5D, ascension, meditation, health, wellness, and beyond. I am so excited that you are here. Come on in. Hi, guys, and welcome back for another solo episode where today I want to share some things that have just been coming up. I want to share an energy update of the summer of 2022. I want to share some astrological events that we have had and are going to experience this summer. And just really talking about some life hacks of living as a spiritual being during the times that we're living in, because I feel like we could all use that. So before we get into the episode, I just want to give Evolve Exclusive a shout out. So some people I've realized, actually, I don't know how many people, but I know a few people just thought that I do podcasting for a living, which is so interesting because this was a relatively new project for me. And before this, it really all started with the Evolve Exclusive. So what is the Evolve Exclusive? The Evolve Exclusive has grown to be a massive library of spiritual teachings where you have access to audio meditations, journaling meditations, breathwork meditations under 10 minutes, which we call Breath Express, longer meditations around 20 to 25 minutes, Kriyas, which are movement-based meditations, and Body Flow, which is a yoga set, recipes, children's meditations, and beyond. The library is growing so much that I'm losing track of all the things that I do offer through that. I actually scrolled through the membership the other day looking for a meditation to do, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we have so many resources in here. It's unbelievable. There's truly a meditation for anything you could need, everyone, anything. So we created an app for Evolve, which is right now for Apple users only. We are working hard to get that on Android and other platforms, but no worries. If you don't have an Apple, you can use the browser interface, which works exactly the same as the app. So with this app, you have access to life-changing meditations. And I say that very humbly. These are some of them are meditations that I channel, but others are Kundalini meditations, which are ancient. They've lived on for thousands and thousands of years, and it's something that we now have access to, which I feel so grateful to share with the world. So if you are interested in starting a morning routine and really taking the first step to changing your life and shifting the vibration you're living on, shifting the trajectory of your life, you have to check out Evolve Exclusive. And the great thing about this is there's a 7-day free trial. So if you click the link in the bio, you will have access to the free trial for Evolve Exclusive, 7 days. I encourage you to use it for the 7 days so you could really experience the effects of doing this practice consistently, and miracles start to happen. I have a lot of evidence of that in my DMs and my emails. Miracles can start to happen when we're open to them. And we have this really powerful practice to connect to. So check that out. I'll leave the link in the show notes so you can easily sign up for the 7-day free trial. With the Evolve Exclusive, we also have weekly lives around full moons, new moons, or just lives to start our week off together as a community in the right frequency. So check that out. We'd love for you to join the community. Let's get on into the episode. Okay, guys, so we are just coming off of summer solstice. And as you definitely know, I mean, if you've been following me, you know that I had a really special summer solstice event that was a retreat day. It took place in Point Lookout in this gorgeous dream home, oceanfront home. And we started the day with a sunrise meditation going right into mantra. We were there before sunrise. It was dark, so peaceful, so quiet. And we were meditating and chanting as the sunrise came upon us. And we spent the day doing a lot of high vibrational things, some yoga, some sound healing, a meditation beach walk. It was so special. And I've learned so many things from that day. And I want to share a little bit about that with you. So I'm so grateful to have this online digital community. It's so powerful. I would have never been able to meet and connect with the people that I have. And technology really offers us so so many opportunities, really connecting all of us, no matter where we are, no matter what our background is, where we're from. We're all just so easily connected, and I'm so grateful for it. And what I've realized is that in person has its own benefits as well. And in the past, I've done in-person events, never ever one like this, but it's just really special to get together because what we did was we created this container of energy and actually a group aura, which was very cool. We did a specific Kundalini meditation so that we activated our auras, but we also activated the group aura. And you felt this like for 2 or 3 days following, I was like missing that energy in the people because we just created this very deep connection with one another from spending the day together. So at first, this was a little bit outside of my comfort zone because I knew this would be a really long day and a lot of energy, but something told me to just go for it. And this is what some people needed. And I knew everyone who signed up was like truly meant to be there. So from this, I've learned how important it is to have a community, whether it's online or in person, and how powerful it is to gather as a group with people who I'm hesitant to say like on your frequency or around your frequency, but that's kind of what my brain wants to say. I think with energy, a lot of the things we want to say can't be described in words because our language is limiting when it comes to energy. But you know how it feels to be with someone that just like, you're like, oh, they get it. Like they get this whole energy thing, spirituality. I feel so seen and understood. And it's just so special when you find that in other people and when you come together as a group and sharing what you want to manifest out loud with other people, knowing that you're supported. It's just such a special experience. So it was really, really special. And I'm hoping to have more opportunities for that in the future. To be honest with you, I would love to do a 3-day retreat. There have been people DMing me for like, I want to say years now, being like, can you do a retreat? Can you do a retreat? And my best friend, Victoria, she's been on this podcast. She's been asking me to do a retreat with her forever. And I was always like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. Not yet. And this just opened me up to realizing how important it is to create that like micro collective consciousness in this world that we really need to bring this energy into. So gathering as a group almost feels like we're creating a wider container. We're coming together. We're doing this together. And that ripples out into the collective energy. We're shifting the collective energy. So it was so special. So if you weren't part of that, which many of you who are listening were not able to be just because of where you're located or whatever reason, it was a very small group. I hope that you spent the summer solstice doing something special. And as you know from my last solo episode, I think it was two solo episodes before about the summer solstice, is just that it's the day of the most light and we need to access this light energy within ourselves so we could carry that out into the world. And some might believe there's a battle right now between lightness and darkness, and we can definitely see that just from the hardships that we've encountered over the past few years. And anytime that we can access that light energy is something that we need to take advantage of for ourselves, for the people we love who are around us, but also for the energy of the collective, because our frequency affects the frequency on earth and we're responsible for our energy. And by being responsible for that and by doing what lights us up and allows us to feel aligned, we're raising the frequency on earth. So that is what summer solstice was all about, harnessing that light energy and bringing that into ourselves, allowing that to ripple out. Also, a really powerful day for manifestations. And now, as I record this, it's July 5th, which is a very interesting day. So starting yesterday, there is this Sirius activation portal, and Sirius is known to be the son of our sun, or the largest star in the solar system that is like a sun to our soul, helping to awaken us spiritually. it helps to activate us and activate that dormant DNA and helps us to really step into our spiritual gifts. So I'm actually leading a meditation tonight for Evolve members where we're going to be activating our energy and setting intention for the spiritual gifts that we want to receive. And it's so interesting because I think on our journey, we all of a sudden have these moments of like, oh my gosh, how did I get here? Like, I remember when I used to live in so much fear. I remember when I used to be paranoid. I remember when I didn't have faith, when I didn't trust the universe. How did I now get here where I trust so deeply that I'm literally surrendering? When things start going wrong, today was a very weird tech glitchy day for me. Like my Instagram DMs aren't coming through still. It's been all day. I went to the post office. First the computer went down, then after that the label machine was out of labels. Like I was just seeing this resistance every time I encountered technology today, and that just allowed me, instead of getting frustrated or getting into fear, saying what's going on, or annoyed that I had to be somewhere and it's taking extra long at the post office. I just find myself leaning in and trusting and knowing that like whatever's happening is something that either needs to be brought to my attention. There's resistance that I need to clear. Maybe I need to take a moment to set an intention and clear whatever obstacles are in my path, or maybe I'm meant to be here a little bit longer. So the reason why I'm bringing that up is because, as I was saying, in the past, I was very much in a frequency of fear, very much not trusting or having faith in the universe. And we have our practice, of course, that helps us to grow and get to the point that we're at today. But we also have these very powerful portal days. And when we utilize these portal days with the practice, it expands us that much deeper. So it's interesting. Sometimes, critics might be like, really, a portal day that's going to activate your DNA and it's going to help you become more spiritually aligned. And in my mind, it's like, yeah, it's like all of these baby steps that end up leading us to this space that we don't even recognize ourselves. We're like, how did we get here? How did I get here? How do I trust so deeply? Like, this is amazing. And you kind of look back and you're like, wow, the old me would have responded or reacted this way. But now, oh, wow, look at how I'm choosing to respond. And it feels like something way, way beyond us and greater than us. So, the serious portal that we're in right now is all about that, activating our energy, turning on some dormant DNA and dormant consciousness, and allowing us to align to our highest self, go deeper. And even when you listen to this, which will be the following week, it's still relative. I think it's so important during these times to set intention for what spiritual gifts do you want to turn on. But I want to preface this because I believe I had a spiritual flu, which I could tell you a little bit more about. Don't be nervous and don't be scared with anything I say. So this is I'll tell you how to filter this out. So when you're asking for more spiritual gifts, you want to set intention. It is for the greatest good, and you want to set intention that you're able to access this with grace, with ease, and with peace. So that brings me to, and again, I don't want you to feel any fear because that's not what this is about. This is all about love. And I truly believe ever since I found Kundalini, there were moments where my ego tried to pop in and be like, this meditation's getting rather intense. You feel like you're convulsing. Do you want to stop now? What's actually happening? And my intuition, Erica, like the old me, would be like, oh my, I was scared of everything. Like, no, like a bug out. Like, no, stop. And my intuition always roared, keep going. Do not stop. Don't give into it. Ride it. You're safe. You're safe. You're safe. And that's just how I knew this practice was just presented to me at the right time, the right space, and was going to bring me where I needed to be. But the reason why I'm sharing all this is because sometimes we could ask for things and not be ready for them. And that's why I truly believe with Kundalini, you get an invitation. I would actually love to hear your invitation to either this podcast or Kundalini, because I promise you, like, you start to hear it. It starts to slip into your awareness. You hear it here, you hear it there. You start to pique interest, and then you're like, ooh, I'm going to reach out, or ooh, I'm really guided to try this. There's always that invitation. And I always feel like this can never be sold to anyone. No one could be convinced to do this or to start a practice. It needs to be aligned. And that's because this is a very powerful frequency we're working with. And you don't want to turn on 600 volts in a body that can only handle 1 volt at the time. You need to be ready and prepared. And that's what plant-based did for me. It actually prepped my body, not saying you have to be plant-based at all to do Kundalini. It was my gateway. It's what my body needed in order to clear a lot, to create space for this practice. So sometimes we can feel that we could have some ascension symptoms. And I want to tell you about something that I experienced. Again, no fear, because I knew I was protected. But yeah, I'm just going to share it. So around Memorial Day weekend, I'm very much into the Pleidians, and I've been sharing about this gently because it's definitely very out there. Okay, I want to rewind. I have so much to share. Okay, so I always knew that I was like from Earth, and I never felt like I was from another star system. I felt like the only past lives I've had were on Earth. I never connected to aliens. And a lot of spiritual people do, and they've spoken about these galaxies that they've come from or these planets they've come from, and that was just like never me. And then I read Bringers of the Dawn, and when I read that, everything felt so true to my soul. Like, I was reading this book I've never read before, and I knew everything in it to be true. And that doesn't mean if you read it, you're going to believe in all that the author shares and channels, but it just felt so right to my soul. So she, the author of Bringers of the Dawn, I think it's Mary Marinac or something like that. I have to look. But she channels the Pleidians, which are from the star system Pleiades, and they are known to be higher consciousness light beings. And I just became fascinated with this after reading that book. So then I started, after that book, this summer, I started to read Family of Light. And I started to learn that this author, as well as many other people, channel the Pleiadians. And they're known to be these light beings that are here to serve us, to help us, to support us. And in this ascension process, they're way more intelligent than we are. They're not scary. If there's ever going to be an alien invasion, I'm actually like pretty excited for it after reading these books, because they're really super intelligent and of higher consciousness. And yeah, so I started reading Family of Light. I started to hear about other people channeling the Pleiadians, and I'm like, I want to channel the Pleiadians. Like, I'm ready to go even deeper in this spiritual journey. So the day before, let's say this was, I don't know, let's say it was like Wednesday. Wednesday, I asked after my meditation to channel and receive messages from the Pleiadians. The next day, I woke up with a sore throat. I thought nothing of it. Okay. The following day, I woke up with like a worse sore throat, and my gland was swollen. And for someone who's had a blocked throat chakra her whole life, this isn't something I've never experienced before. I was always sick with strep throat and tonsillitis. That was like the first place that I would always get sick as a child. And it makes a lot of sense because my throat chakra was extremely blocked my whole life. And I didn't realize that until I went to my Kundalini training and beyond that. So energy becomes dense, and people believe that energy or emotions that are stored can actually create those physical symptoms. So there's that. So I had a sore throat, and I'm like, okay, whatever, it's fine. And then the next day, in the evening, it was around 9 o'clock, all of a sudden I felt a fever come on, which is very out of the ordinary for me. The last time I had a fever was probably 12 years ago, but also when I recently had the virus. So other than the virus, I haven't had a fever for like 12 or 13 years. So I'm like, this is very weird. So I was lying in my bed. I do want to say I tested myself and I was negative. So I was lying in my bed. My heart was pumping so hard that I almost started to have anxiety because of how hard my heart was pumping. And I just kept thinking, like, my body is working so hard to do something right now, whether it's to fight off whatever I've come in contact with, because at this time I didn't put together what I'm about to put together. So I really thought maybe I caught the virus again, and my body was just really working hard to fight it off. So I went to sleep at 9 p.m. and then my husband and I was literally going to call Vinny upstairs and be like, "You have to lay with me and talk to me because I'm actually scared about what my body's doing right now." So eventually he came upstairs 12 a.m. I woke up when he came up, and I was like, it's gone. Whatever that was just moved through me so quickly in 3 hours. Of course, I took nothing. Like, I didn't take a fever reducer. Yeah. So we could get into so many topics here, but no, I did not take anything to reduce my fever because I wanted my body to do what it's meant to do. And it was gone in 3 hours. And I was like, that's it. It's done. And Vinny's like, Erica, you're definitely sick. Like, there's no way you are done. You had a fever. Like, no, like, you probably have a virus. I'm like, I'm telling you right now, it exited the building, whatever it was, it left. So, and the next day I woke up, I felt amazing. And I felt different, like, ever since that. And what I pieced together after was that I asked for this energetic upgrade. I asked to be able to channel the Pleidians. And what I've learned after listening to a podcast was that sometimes you can feel physical ailments when your body's going through an upgrade, to be able to receive those messages and create that space, which was pretty wild. And then I started to think, like, of course, my throat was sore because of just the throat chakra that I've always worked very hard to clear. And for the most part, it is very, very, very clear. My chakras are truly clear and aligned, but there can always be residual stuff that needs to be moved through the body and cleared out depending on what's going on. So hopefully I didn't freak you out with this spiritual upgrade that I believe I had, or maybe a spiritual flu type thing. But the reason I present this to you is because I didn't set intention that it would happen gracefully, peacefully, and with ease. And I didn't set intention if it was for the highest good. I kind of forgot my own rules there. And maybe that's why my body had to experience that shift. But it's interesting. Was it a random virus? Maybe. Was it a spiritual upgrade? I want to believe that. It's pretty fascinating things. And I don't think it's a coincidence that just a few days later, I was listening to a podcast that shared about when wanting to connect with the Pleidians, you can experience something physical because your body needs to work through a lot. So I don't know. You guys can let me know what you think after you listen to this episode. So yeah, it was very interesting, and I thought it was pretty cool after. At first it was a little intense, but afterwards it was great. So we have this serious portal going on, and if you're setting intention for these spiritual gifts to come through, set intention for them to be of the highest good for you, for all, and let it be graceful, with ease and with peace and with health, and put that intention behind it. And after this serious portal, this is going to lead us to the Lionsgate portal, but that doesn't come until 8/8 of August in Leo season. So before we get there, I want to talk a little bit about Cancer season, which is right now. We're in the midst of it, and some things that I've been experiencing, some energy that I have felt from the collective, and maybe it resonates with you as well. So from what I've intuitively downloaded and received is that Cancer season can be very intense emotionally. You can feel like 100 in one moment, and then you can feel depressed, sad, crying of sadness or happy tears, either or, in the next moment. And I've experienced those high and lows. And like being an empath is feeling for other people. And then I think cancer season just exacerbates that to a whole new level. Like just feeling what other people may be feeling, thinking their thoughts, and really putting yourself in their shoes, whether you want to or not. It kind of just happens that way. Major empath vibes for cancer season. So this can bring up some things from the past that haven't been healed yet, kind of a time to reflect, to go within and pull up what needs to be cleared, ascended, transcended, healed. And you might be experiencing that. You might be getting some things that used to bother you in the past, or some things that you've dealt with in the past are resurfacing. And it's here for a reason. It's coming up for a reason, because you are the next level of yourself at this point. From when you experienced this in the past, you have ascended spiritually and you have grown, and now you're faced with it again. So you could heal it on a new level. And I think that's just important to know, because sometimes, and I hear this so often with people, like it feels like I'm going backwards, or something old is coming up and I thought I had healed it. I hear that all the time. And I believe it's because the next level of you has a new, fresh perspective. You have more strength. You have more power over whatever it is, and you're going to heal it on a deeper level. Maybe once and for all, or maybe this is level 2. And next time it'll come back not feeling half as intense, and you're going to heal that residual. So those are some things that cancer season is bringing up that I've personally felt. I feel like the collective has felt. And I think it's good to know, just so we can be more of an observer in our life. And that's why I like astrology. So Kundalini, as you guys know, is, well, you may know, I share this all the time. It's the yoga and meditation of awareness. And it helps us to be aware, more of an observer in our lives, our thoughts. And that's really powerful, because it's less from the ego and more from this higher perspective. And I feel like astrology is pretty similar. So what I never want to do for astrology, and I'm sharing this because I don't recommend it. I never wanted to plant seeds for me. And if something in my astrology chart or forecast is something that's either negative or whatever, even if it's positive, I don't want to plant seeds, because I know I'm a powerful co-creator and that will manifest whether it's meant to be or not. But I like to use it as a forecast so that I can be aware that if something does come up, I'm more of an observer to it. Like, oh yeah, this was supposed to present itself. And instead of being reactive, I'm going to tap into my higher self. So I think that's powerful. So after Cancer season, we are going to move into Leo season. And this season is all about leadership, stepping into your spiritual gifts, stepping into your purpose. It's like that lion energy. And I love Leo season. It's really special. And we have that Lionsgate portal, which is exactly that, supporting us to align to our higher self, our purpose, being a leader in our life during this time, and going forward with whatever it is that's aligned at that time. And we'll have that portal on the 8th. So that's something to look forward to. But in the meantime, Sirius plays a really big role there as well, because it becomes visible to Earth, and we're really getting that light energy through Sirius. And we've already activated that energy this past week. So in between now and then, just be open. Be open to where life wants to take you. Be open to the opportunities that are coming your way. Be open to developing more spiritual skills and gifts, and just allow yourself to receive. And a really big message that I found was letting go, not anticipating any change, not hoping for one specific thing, but allowing yourself to truly be open with zero expectations so the universe can deliver to you, your spirit guides, your higher self can deliver to you exactly what you're meant to receive. And you can journal, you could allow the universe to know that you're ready, that you're open, and that you're willing, and let the good times roll. So I think as much as Cancer is like an intense, emotionally intense season, I think Leo energy will be that fire that we need to like really go ahead with whatever it is that we're passionate about, that we feel aligned to. And it's something to really look forward to. And now I wanted to share just some spiritual life hacks and downloads that I've received, things that have been coming up a lot for, I think, a lot of people that might be useful for you to hear and just be reminded of. So, the first thing is about your purpose. And I work with a lot of people that want to discover, uncover their purpose. And what I want to share with you is to trust the process, stay open to receiving, and allow yourself to follow what feels good for you. And that's why we've been doing intuition meditations and a lot of work around intuition, because when we strengthen that intuition within us, that's really all we're able to do is follow it and really tune into that space. So that's the first thing I wanted to share. So letting go of resistance, not stressing, knowing whatever's destined for you will find you, and just trust the process. That's the first message. The second one is about living during really challenging times. There have been some things in the collective that have popped up, and you may have noticed, some of you have noticed and DM'd me. Just sharing that I don't post a lot about what goes on in the mainstream news or in politics because, number one, I don't put a lot of my energy there. As much as I like to stay informed and educated, I'm not an expert on anything political. So therefore, I don't share anything political. And I also think that Instagram has really become such an echo chamber where people, whether they like, I don't even know whether how they feel or what their intent is, but there's this need to be, to report. And I think it is so powerful that when you're passionate about something, you need to share it and use that throat chakra and go with it. That's just one place where I don't feel as comfortable. Being a Libra, I think being an empath, being able to like feel so many different people's emotions, it is extremely hard to advocate during such intense times where it's very divisive, because a Libra is about the opposite of division. It's all about coming together and being that balance. The next download that I've received, and just something that I think a lot of people need support in, is how to protect your energy during very intense and heightened times. And it's something we're all experiencing based off of just the news and what goes on in the world. It feels like one day after another, there's something that's popping up. And not just popping up, popping is like way too gentle. It's like completely consuming us, consuming the news, consuming social media. And it's almost like we can't even escape it if we tried, if we wanted to take like that moment of peace. And my suggestion is to absolutely have your meditation practice each morning so that you can create that energetic shield around you and leaning into your faith. And it becomes so hard, I think, when things become when things don't make sense on the outside and there's so much polarity, division, and when we just feel like things aren't going the way that we set intention for. And I think leaning into the faith and being the energy that you want to see in the world is the most important thing that we can do in those moments. So, although we feel like some problems are so much bigger than us, being able to tune into the energy that we want to see so that we could share that with each person that we come in contact with and allow that ripple effect to go on and on and on. I think that's something very, very powerful. Taking time to just rest, reset, recharge off of social, not consuming anything but something that feels good and restorative to you. We get into these cycles of just scrolling, and your mind is not at rest. Even though we think that's a restful exercise, it really isn't. So taking time to recharge, taking salt baths to cleanse your aura, doing Kundalini to cleanse your aura and clear your energetic field, all really important things. And I just think overall, this is the last thing that I wanted to share. We're starting to see so many people awaken to this higher consciousness, so many people starting to meditate, so many people building a spiritual practice, so many people talking about manifesting, all of these things that weren't part of our dialogue in the earlier 2000s, in the first 2 decades of the 2000s. And now it feels to me as if almost everyone is joining in on this. And we're here for the evolution of consciousness. We're literally watching it happen. And it happens at all different rates and speeds for everyone. And just being gentle with yourself and with others during this time. But taking time to, I think it's so important to take time to sit back and reflect on why we're here during these times that could feel super hard, and how far we have come as a collective, even if the outside world doesn't look or feel that way. Bringing yourself back into you, back into your neighbor, back into your best friend, back into your spiritual friends that you have made, and realizing the growth that is taking place on the earth and the light that does indeed exist on the earth. And sometimes the noise on the outside can really try to dim that light and make us believe that it doesn't even exist. But taking moments to go back to that and settle into that and remind yourself that it does, it is so powerful. It's so powerful. So that is what I wanted to share today on this solo episode. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'm so grateful that you're here. If you have any questions or want to chat further about anything we shared, comment on the trailer and the teaser of this episode. I would love to hear from you, and I'll see you next time. May the longtime sun shine upon you. Satnam.